In 2015, researchers at Azabu University in Japan designed an experiment that sounds so simple it might seem trivial. They let dogs and their owners look into each other's eyes. No training, no commands, no food, there was no task whatsoever. Just looking into each other's eyes, and they measured what happened inside the bodies of both. The results were something no one in the scientific community could have predicted. In both humans and dogs, oxytocin levels increased. Not just in humans, not just in dogs. In both, at the exact same moment, through a single behavior, looking into each other's eyes. Oxytocin is the strongest bonding hormone that the human brain releases. This is the hormone that appears when a mother looks into the eyes of her newborn baby for the very first time. This is the chemical the brain uses to encode another person as safe, as important, and as someone who belongs to you. And it is rising inside your dog's brain when they look into your eyes. But this is not the most surprising part. The most surprising part is why this only happens with dogs, not wolves, and not any other animal on this planet, even if they have been raised by humans for decades. The answer does not lie in the behavior itself. It lies in something that happened during the evolutionary history of dogs. And it completely changes you understand every single moment of eye contact you and that dog have ever shared. We will save that for the very end. You have probably looked into your dog's eyes hundreds of times, without knowing that in that moment, there is not just one thing happening in your brain. There are two, one in your brain and one in theirs, and both are pulling in the exact same direction. Let us start with what your dog's instinct is programmed to do, because that is where the story truly begins. In the animal kingdom, looking straight into someone's eyes is the language of confrontation. Wolves look straight into their opponent's eyes before attacking, while dogs use prolonged eye contact to establish dominance. Almost the entire communication system of mammals encodes a prolonged, direct gaze as a danger signal, something to be avoided or met with force. Your dog knows this. Their instincts are built on that very foundation. Their nervous system carries millions of years of evolutionary history, saying that a prolonged gaze is a threat. And yet, when they look into your eyes, they are not threatening you. They are doing the exact opposite of what their survival instincts are programmed to do. Every time your dog holds eye contact with you, they are overcoming an ancient reflex, not because they were taught to, because there is something in your relationship that is strong enough to override it. Your dog is not ignoring their instinct when they look into your eyes. They are overcoming it, and that difference is more important than you think. In 2015, Miho Nagasawa and her research team at Azabu University published their findings in the journal Science, one of the highest standard scientific journals in the world. They measured oxytocin in the urine of both owners and dogs before and after different interaction sessions. Among these sessions was mutual gaze, sessions where the owner and the dog simply looked into each other's eyes, doing nothing else. The results showed that owner-dog pairs with longer durations of mutual gaze experienced an increase in oxytocin on both sides, not just in the human, not just in the dog, in both during the exact same session. And when they went a step further, when they sprayed oxytocin into the dogs' noses before the interaction session, those dogs sought out eye contact with their owners even more. Higher oxytocin led to more eye contact. More eye contact led to higher oxytocin in both. A self-reinforcing, continuous loop, deepening further every single time it is triggered. Mutual gaze is not just the result of a bond. It is the mechanism that creates the bond. You are not just looking into each other's eyes. You are creating a chemical bond with each other, in real time. But what does oxytocin actually do? Because the love hormone is a name that oversimplifies what is really happening inside the brain. Oxytocin does not just create a warm feeling. It actually changes how the brain processes information about the person standing right in front of you. It increases trust. It reduces social anxiety. And most importantly, it encodes the other person as safe within your nervous system, not as a conscious thought, as a biological state. This is the exact same mechanism at work when a mother looks into the eyes of her newborn baby during the first few hours after birth. The mother's brain releases oxytocin, The baby's brain releases oxytocin. Two nervous systems begin to encode each other as safe, as belonging together. When your dog looks into your eyes and oxytocin rises in their brain is encoding you using the exact mechanism a mother's brain uses to encode her child. Not as a metaphor. The same hormone, the same biological mechanism. Your dog's brain, in that moment, is running the exact same chemistry it would use to bond with its own offspring, and it is running that chemistry for you. If this is giving you a new perspective on your dog, that is exactly what this channel exists to do. Subscribe. We do this every single week. What sets Nagasawa's study apart from all previous research is not just the fact that oxytocin increases. It is that it increases on both sides, simultaneously, through a single behavior. And to understand why that is so special, let us look at what happened when they tested wolves, not wild wolves. Wolves that were raised by humans from the time they were pups. Wolves that were accustomed to human presence, had no fear of humans, and had lived with humans their entire lives. If the mutual gaze oxytocin loop was something that simply came from being familiar with humans, these wolves should have had it too. They did not. No oxytocin loop appeared. Human-raised wolves do not form mutual gaze bonding with their caretakers the way dogs do. This mechanism does not exist in wolves. It only exists in dogs. That means the oxytocin feedback loop through mutual gaze is not something dogs learn from humans. It is something that was evolutionarily selected into dogs, a biological mechanism built specifically to connect with humans. Your dog did not learn how to bond with you through a gaze. Evolution built that pathway right into them, for this exact purpose. There is an important thing to clarify before we continue. Not every single eye contact from a dog is mutual gaze bonding. Dogs also use a direct gaze in entirely different contexts, and misreading that context can lead to serious mistakes. A hard stare, an unblinking gaze, a stiffened body, a lowered head, with no movement is a warning signal in dog language. This is the look of a dog that is tense, warning you or preparing to react. It looks completely different from mutual gaze bonding. Mutual gaze bonding comes with a relaxed body, soft eyes, not tense, not hard, sometimes a slow blink, sometimes a slight tilt of the head. That is the gaze of a dog in a state of absolute safety with nothing to defend against. Soft eyes are the signal you are looking for. When you recognize the difference, you do not just understand when the bond is being reinforced. You also read when your dog is sending the opposite signal, and you can respond appropriately instead of brushing it off. If mutual gaze is the mechanism that creates and reinforces the bond, if each session of looking into each other's eyes actually changes the chemistry in both of your brains, then that has a very specific practical consequence. Nagasawa's study showed that owner-dog pairs with longer mutual gaze times do not just have higher oxytocin in a single session, they have a higher baseline bond over time. The bond accumulates. Each session adds to the previous one. And the most ordinary moments, sitting together, doing nothing special, just looking, are not passive. They are working. You do not need structured training sessions. You do not need food rewards. You do not need any intentional action other than stopping. Stop. Look into your dog's eyes. Let that session last naturally. Do not cut it short, and do not look away just because you are not used to the silence. Both of your brains will do the rest. The most powerful bonding tool you have does not cost a single thing. It has been there all along. You just did not know what it was doing. And now for the thing we saved from the very beginning. Why this mechanism only exists in dogs, not wolves, not cats, not any other animal even if they have been raised by humans. Brian Hare at Duke University and his research team have shown that during domestication, a process spanning tens of thousands of years where dogs split from their wolf ancestors to live with humans, dogs evolved a set of social cognitive skills specific to humans that wolves do not possess. The ability to read human eye contact, the ability to follow the direction of a human gaze, and the mutual gaze oxytocin loop. These skills do not appear in human-raised wolves. They only appear in dogs. Because they were selected into the dog genome over thousands of generations, individuals capable of connecting deeper with humans survived better, were cared for better, and passed that trait on to the next generation. The mutual gaze oxytocin loop is not a random behavior. It is not a learned habit. This is the product of tens of thousands of years of intentional evolution. Dogs being shaped by selection pressures to become capable of connecting with humans in a way no other species can. Every time your dog looks into your eyes, tens of thousands of years of evolution are doing exactly what they were selected to do. Next time your dog looks into your eyes, not to beg for food, not because you called them, just looking, in a way where that gaze is soft and unhurried. Let that moment happen. Do not look away. Do not cut it short. Look back. Because in that moment, oxytocin is rising in both of your brains. The bond is being reinforced in a real and measurable biological way, and tens of thousands of years of evolution are doing exactly what they were selected to do. Connecting your dog to you, just a little bit deeper, once again. Most dog owners love their dogs completely, but love and understanding are not the same thing. That gap between loving and understandings is exactly what this channel exists to close. Let me know in the comments, when does your dog hold eye contact with you? How does that moment feel to you? I read every single comment. If this video changed how you look at even one single moment with your dog, subscribe. That is exactly what this channel is here to do every single week.